how many people did you guys actually light on fire?
We had a day and a half to shoot that whole scene.
Allison swimming in the water. From what I understand, you guys did it in a lake and in a pool.
If I remember correctly, we had 43 locations in something like 38 days.
That's crazy. Is the flower CGI or was that perfect timing? Welcome back to another episode of Psychocinematic. Today my guest is Vanja Cernjul. I got to pick Vanya's brain about his DP work on a couple episodes from season 2 of House of the Dragon, as well as his DP work on Crazy Rich Asians. So without further ado, here's Vanja. Let me ask you about the fire in House of the Dragon, because this show seems pretty unique in the fact that it seems like the fire is never overexposed or have any blown out highlights. And so it's very orange all the time, even like when it's coming from the dragon. What kinds of difficulties are you running into shooting with fire, whether that's the real fire or the fake fire? Also, like in regards to like lighting your subjects, because I mean, to be able to not overexpose that flame, you're gonna have to underexpose everything. So does that just mean you're pumping in way more light on your subjects, your scene?
That used to be the case. Initially with the digital cameras, it became all about highlights. You had to always light the room up to the brightest point in your frame. So sometimes you find yourself having to light the whole room just because you have a lamp in a corner or you have a candle or something like that. So RE35, what that camera did is they shifted the scale more towards the highlights. They found a sweet spot. This camera really helped us. It came out just before season 2, and we all really were blown away by how well it held highlights, which meant that you can really use sources of fire as practical sources without having to worry about blowing up the flames. All the interiors in House of the Dragons, this beautifully designed sets, all have very narrow medieval windows. So if you want to shoot, have a naturalistic, source-based approach, you need to pump a lot of light through the windows to get the usable light levels inside. And in the process, with the cameras we had only like 4 years ago, you would completely blow the windows. But also, we have amazing colors. Even if the flames get a little bit blown out, there's always traces and information in the green channel. So what he does, he turns basically the flames into just uses a green channel, pulls the only information from the green channel, and then colors it back to orange.
That's awesome.
A little trick that he does that makes it even richer.
Keeping with that fire theme, at the end of 207, when they're claiming the 2 dragons, so I spot, I believe, CGI fire, VFX fire assets, and real fire. Some of the best tells for me with the real fire was when people were on fire. And so I'm curious, like, how many people did you guys actually light on fire?
I believe it was 12 stunt people in one single shot
Wow.
that were lit on fire, which was just incredible to watch.
Yeah.
When you see like real people hit by a flamethrower, it's really scary. These, of course, are some of the best stunt people in the world, and they've done it before. But it's still really scary to watch. I think we had like each time, I think there was 8 seconds that you have before they had to extinguish fire. They were ready to repeat it several times, but you don't want to repeat it unless it's absolutely necessary. Also, the costumes may get damaged, and so you really want to get it in the first take. The visual effects department did really detailed previews. Weeks before we shot it, we knew exactly which lens would be where, and we did as much as we could to make sure that we get it in the first take, and we did most of those shots we got in the first take.
So with all that prep that you are doing before you actually light anyone on fire, does that do anything to help, like calm your nerves, or are you still just like, oh God, got to get this shot?
With all the prep, you're still discovering things on the day. For example, Lonnie Perister, the director of episode 207, very early on, he knew he wanted to do a big portion of that scene in a oner. So that shot, that's when Hard Hugh runs away from the dragon, hides behind the rock, and then finally claims the dragon. That was all shot in one shot, but we still wanted to be like as subjective as possible, and we wanted to have a handheld feel and really run with him on a wide lens throughout the shot. So the day before we did a test, and we realized that there's Kieran was running so fast, and it was really hard to keep up with him. And the handheld became a little bit too shaky, and we didn't like. It was almost unreadable what was going on. So with all the prep, still when you see it on the day, there's things that you have to adjust. Um, Luckily, we had Alex Fraser, this amazing our amazing key grip, who always comes up with a quick solution. He's happy to engineer things on the spot. Just come up with a solution. It's amazing. He put together a cable cam quickly. Like I think he was like, "Oh, we'll just together a cable cam and support the handheld from the cable cam." So it became a hybrid of handheld and the cable cam.
Yeah.
It in 45 minutes, and so that was a surprise, but that
Yeah, that's
we
incredible.
learned basically a day before that we needed something like that. So luckily we had time to do a rehearsal.
So when you guys are running over to him, is there a like a stand-in dragon head for VFX and for your actor and you guys to know how you need to frame that?
Yeah, so that was a visual effects department. Because Dragonmont, it was all shot on blue screen basically, just a plinth that was the only real element, some rocks around, but it was basically ocean of blue screen.
I wanted to ask if you guys had that stand-in because the shot where Sea Smoke in I think the end of 206 is coming to let Adam be his rider. He's flying in the sky. Do you guys have a stand-in in the sky because you and the actor or like the camera and the actor, are panning around? Are you guys just doing your best guess and then letting the, the CGI animators like figure it out?
When it's important to know where the dragon is in the sky, we use a drone. So there's
Ah,
actually flying to give actor, a reference. So that was a
that's
helpful
awesome.
trick, especially when he's, that chase that starts on the beach and goes,
Hmm.
the hill. Our actor always had the reference where the dragon is supposed to be because the drone was following him.
How about the scene with the owl landing on what's her name? Alice's arm? What's it
Yes.
like working with a live owl and like how long did that take to, accomplish?
Well, whenever there's a bird on the set, one thing that we are not allowed to use atmosphere and smoke, so
Mm,
it's they don't like it. So that was my first problem. That is because I had to cut all the atmosphere, and we changed the lighting and the contrast. So this is where again, I need the help from visual effects and colors to bring those shots to the same contrast level as the shots with the atmosphere. But also, we did have a couple of rehearsals with because she was supposed to feed the owl with mice, so we had to make sure that the owl is comfortable, how to safely feed the owl, because they're predators. So it's like
yeah.
they could be dangerous.
Can you walk me through the intricacies of a scene like the one where Allison is running out of the building after lighting the candle and there's an angry mob after? Is it as difficult as it looks to shoot something like that? Like the orchestration of all these people and like just all the action that's going on and then, like still telling that story.
Yes, of course, it's difficult. Basically, you can never afford to have the right amount of people. You're always trying to make it that like there's more people than you actually have available. That's always the case.
Hmm.
And very rarely can you do things continuously because you have to reuse the crowd. You have to move them from one part of the set to the other part of the set. For that particular scene, it was a long path. She had to run down the stairs first and then through the whole square, and then in the end she jumps into the carriage. So that last part we shot continuously. So when you see her running from the mob, they kind of pin her to the wall at one moment, and then she runs away, jumps into the carriage. There was a camera rigged into the carriage that then continued shooting as they were riding away. Um, so when you see the exterior of the carriage moving, there's actors actually inside, and there's a camera filming inside at the same time.
Hmm.
So we had a day and a half to shoot that whole scene. A little bit of a challenge, but I think it came out really well.
Yeah. No, definitely. And then how about Allison swimming in the water? Because from what I understand, you guys did it in a lake and in a pool, and you're swapping back and forth between those shots. So like, when are we looking at the pool? When are we looking at the lake? And then why did you decide to incorporate a pool or the lake?
So everything until she walks into the lake, I think like almost knee deep. That was all obviously on location. We wanted to shoot the part where she's in the water on the location. Also, we were planning to have underwater camera on the location in the lake. But the closer we were getting to the shoot, we learned that to make it safe for Olivia to walk into the lake and also have her swim in the spring in Wales, the water would be too cold and just that there would be too much that we would have to build underneath. We did go through the plans where we would like create a pool within the lake that we would then heat the water. It just became too complicated, and then we realized it would be much more comfortable for her and easier for us to do the in water shots and underwater shots on the stage. So everything from below and from above her is on the stage.
Wow.
We have shot the location portion, so we knew what the weather was like, and we could light the part on the set to match what was on location.
Yeah.
And
Was it difficult at all to hide the camera reflections in the water? When I was watching the top down, I was like, maybe it's like perfect, like she's blocking the reflection of the camera, or maybe there were reflections that just got removed in post, or.
she was definitely hiding the camera.
Hmm.
There was a little piece of the crane arm because the crane was obviously above her that needed to be removed in the post.
Hmm.
Yes, but because we were simulating that diffused cloudy sky, there was also a very strong reflection from the top light on the water.
Hmm.
So I think it wasn't too difficult to remove that harm.
Gotcha. With Crazy Rich Asians, I was curious because I had to go and like check what the budget was because I was like, are these all real locations or are they getting like super creative with the production design and like only showing what they absolutely need to and maybe things aren't as nice as they actually look on screen?
That film was a lot of fun to shoot. It's one of the best experiences I ever had. But it was difficult because we were like basically in new location almost every day. I think
Yeah.
we had, if I remember correctly, we had 43 locations in something like 38
Wow.
days.
That's crazy. Before we wrap this up, I want to ask, was that shot where you guys pan around the flower? Is the flower CGI or was that perfect timing?
No, flower CGI.
Okay. I was like,
Nope.
this,
There was a flower there, but the movement is CGI. And of course, if it was real flower and you timed it out for it who knows? It would maybe be too cold at night for something.
right.
It wouldn't, you know how it is. So
It
it's
would sure to
no.
be something. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I let you go, did you work on season one of House of the Dragon or is season two the first one?
Season two was the first one for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're back for season three. And thank you so much for taking the time. It was a pleasure meeting you and getting to pick your brain about all things House of the Dragon and some things Crazy Rich Asians.
Thank you. Thank you. This was fun.